All right, everyone, get ready because the footage you are about to see reveals a deeply troubling misuse of authority captured in real time. The situation begins with immediate tension as the officer enters the exchange with visible frustration and a lack of basic respect for communication. Instead of calm and professional conduct, the tone quickly shifts toward aggression and dismissive behavior, showing little regard for handling the moment properly. This is not just a routine encounter, but a clear demonstration of how rapidly a situation can spiral when authority is handled without control or balance. The individual involved remains calm and composed while standing within his rights in a public space, yet the officer appears reactive and confrontational from the very beginning. As the moments unfold, you will see how pressure, ego, and misunderstanding gradually replace what should have been a straightforward and lawful interaction, making the entire sequence increasingly difficult to ignore.
What's going on today?
Hey, officer, how are you?
What's going on today?
Officer, what's your name?
Barber.
Officer Barber? You're Quincy? I thought they called county.
Call both of us.
I'm just out here taking photos out in public, that's all.
The prison?
Yes, sir.
Are you taking,
Yeah, there's inmates right there. I saw them washing this vehicle.
are you taking pictures of?
I'm a journalist gathering content for stories. It's investigative journalism.
You got a ID on it?
What type of ID would you need?
Driver's license? Any type of ID? What's your name and date of birth?
Well, let me explain to you. I'm standing on a public sidewalk, taking photos out in public.
And that's fine. I asked you for your ID.
I understand, but if I'm not being detained, I'm not going to produce the identification.
Well, sir, you need to move along, man. Like you said, this is city property, so city right away.
What would happen if I don't move?
You go to jail.
For what?
For what?
Yes.
Because I've asked you to move along. You taking pictures of a facility that.
Is that illegal?
We don't know if you're staging a breakout.
I'm not staging a breakout. I told you I'm a journalist gathering.
And then at this point, it's loitering because I asked you for ID and you can't produce it. You had to produce it.
Not really.
Taking pictures of a facility that houses inmates.
Right, I've explained to you I'm an investigative journalist gathering content for
I
stories.
need your ID showing it.
And I have no obligation to prove to you who I am.
Yes, you do.
Look, if I'm not being detained, I'm gonna say.
Have a nice day.
You have a nice day too. You're free to go.
13 and 109. If you could be in route, please.
Are you actually?
Who's that over there?
Are you trying to trespass me from a public sidewalk?
No, I'm asking you to walk along. Keep moving.
I'm not gonna keep moving. I got a job to do, so I'm out here to do my job. I appreciate if you didn't. I appreciate if you didn't interfere and obstruct my.
Now, the moment takes a sharper turn as the situation begins to draw serious attention. The man makes it clear that he is standing in a public place and not breaking any law, while calmly explaining that he is taking photos for investigative journalism, which is fully allowed and protected under the law. Despite this clear explanation, the officer moves straight into demanding identification without presenting any solid or lawful reason to support that demand. Pay close attention here, because this is where the tone of the encounter shifts in a major way. The man responds in a steady voice and asks if he is being detained, and that single statement changes the entire direction of the interaction. When a person is not being detained, there is no obligation to hand over identification, and that is a basic principle. The officer reacts with visible frustration, and instead of providing clarity, she increases pressure by making unclear statements and attempting to take control of the situation. This marks the first serious warning sign where authority begins to move beyond its proper limits, and what follows shows how quickly things can intensify from that point onward.
However, with 10 miles out with them, we lost connection with our caller. Quincy PD has a unit.
I'll go down there and see if they put the liquor store. I have no vehicle told to go down there. Oh, he got a scanner. That's why he knows he's coming.
I'm a journalist. Journalists have scanners. Right? I mean, that's what journalists do. We have scanners. We know what's going on. This is constitutionally protected activity safeguarded by the First Amendment. I have every right to do this.
You from Florida?
I'm not answering any questions.
Because if you're from Florida, you should know that Florida also requires everybody to have identification, which is state law.
So you have to have identification on you at all times?
It's state law. Look it up.
He's a lieutenant in the sheriff's office?
Yeah. Even better. All right. How are you? Yeah. Right, sir. He had to take a picture of the prison and inmates don't want to produce ID.
Why are you doing that,
we
sir?
can verify who it is.
I've explained to the officers.
No, explain it to me.
I'm going to explain to you what I'm doing is I'm a journalist gathering content for a story. Investigative journalist gathering content for a story. And beyond that, investigative journalist gathering content for a story. If I'm not being detained, I'm not going to produce any ID. It's none of y'all's business who I am. It's none of y'all's business what I'm doing. It's an investigative story.
You need to produce something. Don't tell me it's none of my business. You had to taking pictures of a correctional facility,
That's right.
and we want to know why.
I was taking pictures of the inmates. Right. I've just explained to you why. I'm an investigative journalist gathering content for
But
a
you
story.
want to produce the investigative journalist ID as
This is my
well.
identification. A number I can call, a number I can
The situation now shifts into clear intimidation as the officer begins warning the man that he could be taken into custody and ordered to leave or face serious consequences. Yet there is one major issue she fails to identify: any specific law that is being violated. Take a moment to consider the scene. A person is standing on a public sidewalk, not disturbing anyone and not engaging in any unlawful act, yet is being told that detention is possible simply for taking photos. At this point, the reasoning breaks down completely, and the justification loses all credibility. The man remains steady and composed, continuing to assert his lawful rights, while the officer struggles to support her position with any clear explanation. Then an unexpected claim is introduced, suggesting a possible staged breakout, which pushes the situation further into uncertainty and weak reasoning. This moment highlights how imagined scenarios are being used to support real actions, and it becomes clear that the focus has shifted away from safety and toward maintaining control over the encounter.
Being detained, I'm not producing the ID. And as a matter of fact, if I'm free to go, have a nice day. Am I free to go?
No, you're not free to go.
I'm not free to go. So I'm being detained.
No, sir, I need to see my ID.
Okay, well, if I'm not being detained, have a nice day.
I need to see my ID.
Sure. I'm either being detained or I'm free to go. Either one.
You're actually committing obstruction right now by not giving us an ID.
Okay, what's going to happen if I don't produce ID at this point? What will happen?
I'm waiting on that.
I'm not refusing.
Or standing on the sidewalk.
He was alleged to have been in the parking lot. Now, I personally didn't see it. I didn't see it, so I don't know. When I came out and encountered him, he was on the side.
Am I being detained or am I free to go? It's one or the other.
No, I need to see my ID.
Officer. I'm sorry,
this off
Lieutenant.
YouTube. He got this off YouTube. Exact same subject, did this exact same thing on YouTube.
Right, this is
comical. And then he wants to write about it, and this is
It's because you guys are infringing on my First Amendment rights. This is a public sidewalk. This is constitutionally protected activity. I've explained to you that I'm a journalist.
And you never
were
set foot off the sidewalk?
I have never set foot off the sidewalk.
You would have an ID tag. You would have something.
I do have an ID tag, but what I'm telling you is it's none of your business. I'm not producing ID unless I'm being detained.
For security purposes, yes.
There's also a gentleman, he recorded down there. Yeah, he's recording right down the road. He has a camera.
Am I free to go?
No, you're not free to go.
So I'm being detained.
You're not free to go.
I'm not free to go.
Okay, this is not a public building.
That's not a public building.
It's not
It's a state correctional institution, man.
Okay,
You're Tiffany
and for
Parsons.
Yes, Tiffany Parsons.
What's your badge number?
37, Gadsden County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you.
Phone number 627-9233.
Okay,
And if you need anything
Relax.
further, I can give
Okay,
it to you.
relax.
This is a security.
The moment backup arrives, the situation becomes even more intense, rather than calming down as additional officers step in and reinforce the same pressure already being applied. Instead of correcting the direction of the encounter, they repeat the same demands and push harder for compliance. The man once again explains in a steady voice that he is a journalist collecting material while acting fully within his legal rights, yet his words are largely ignored. The focus from the officers is not on understanding the facts, but on obtaining identification and asserting control, even if it means stretching the limits of the law. You can hear statements being made about identification rules that do not fit the situation, which introduces confusion and spreads incorrect information. This is where the situation becomes especially concerning, because when those enforcing the law present unclear or inaccurate claims, it creates a serious risk for misuse of authority. Throughout it all, the man remains calm and respectful, but it is clear that he is being pressured into a form of detention without any firm legal basis or proper justification in place.
Issue. This is a constitutionally protected right, safeguarded by the First Amendment.
Once you come off the sidewalk, it's a security
I've never been off the
issue.
sidewalk. Have you seen me off the sidewalk? Have you witnessed me on their property?
Videotapes. Can
Go
you guys
request
get
it.
a sergeant or lieutenant and let's just view the videotapes?
I have my chief of security in there.
Okay, because if you step
I never stepped off the sidewalk.
we have a big issue.
I never stepped foot off the sidewalk. I've been on the sidewalk the whole time. If I'm free to go, have a nice day.
You're not free to go
So I'm being detained.
temporarily.
For what reason? What's your reasonable articulable
Because I'm
suspicion?
conducting an investigation.
Based on what? What am I doing that's
I'm
illegal?
conducting an investigation.
What's your
and
reasonable-
my badge says that I can.
What's your reasonable
and you
articulable
will
suspicion?
Be quiet.
What is your reasonable
I'm conducting
articulable
an
suspicion?
investigation.
Based on
I'm
what?
conducting an investigation based on
What
a potential security issue.
Potential security issue.
Potential security issue. That's right.
I've explained to
Until
you-
I see the tapes, I have right to see the tapes. And after I see the tapes,
So you're going to
if
detain me until you see the tapes?
Can you shut up long enough for me to finish talking?
That's not very nice.
I don't give a damn.
Okay.
Until I see the videotapes, I am officially conducting an investigation. Once I view them and I see that you never step foot on this property, you are free to go.
What's your reasonable articulable suspicion that I stepped foot on that property? What's your reasonable articulable suspicion that I've committed a crime? Did you take an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States, ma'am? Are you aware that this is a First Amendment right?
The situation now reaches a critical breaking point as the officers clearly state that the man is no longer free to leave, yet they struggle to provide a clear and lawful reason for that decision. This moment carries serious weight because any form of detention must be supported by reasonable suspicion based on actual facts rather than assumptions or uncertainty. Instead of hearing a solid explanation, what follows is a series of unclear statements mixed with confusion and even direct contradictions. One officer openly acknowledges that no wrongdoing was observed, which makes the continued detention even more difficult to justify. Despite this, the man remains steady and continues to ask a direct and simple question about whether he is being detained or allowed to leave. This question should have a clear answer, but instead it is met with hesitation and lack of clarity. That hesitation begins to reveal the deeper issue, as the absence of a firm explanation exposes the weakness behind the actions being taken and shows how quickly rights can be placed at risk in such moments.